Okay, so grab a seat because you will not believe what just went down in Hollywood. Paramount, yes, the big-name studio, is the latest to slam the door right in Harry and Meghan's faces. And honestly, no one's surprised anymore. The dream is falling apart. Like, actually falling apart. Remember back when they made that grand royal exit, the whole world was watching. People were rooting for them. Look at them go, breaking away, building a new future. They had the media in the palm of their hands. Deals were rolling in, attention was at its peak, and the couple could do no wrong. Until, well, they did. Fast forward to now, and that spotlight totally dimmed. Netflix didn't just pull back, they flat out ghosted them. No statement, no farewell, not even a thanks for the memories. Just cold silence. And in Hollywood, silence is deadly. When that Netflix deal made waves, 100 million mind you, people thought this was going to be huge. Like Meghan and Harry, media moguls huge. We're talking impactful documentaries, compelling series, projects that would reshape their whole narrative. But what did we get? A lukewarm docu-series and a few attempts that barely made a splash. And that Invictus Games content? Sorry, it barely landed. Not even close to the powerhouse material people expected. Behind the scenes, things were reportedly messy. Their production company, Archewell, was not functioning like a pro studio. Whispers of miscommunication, revolving staff, and creative chaos. Basically, what they were selling in public didn't match what was happening behind closed doors. Netflix noticed, of course they did. They track every click, every stream, every drop of attention. And guess what? The numbers weren't great. It wasn't just about bad content, it was about consistency, and Meghan and Harry just couldn't deliver. Then came the Spotify disaster. Archetypes was Meghan's big comeback, her shiny, meaningful podcast moment. But it flopped. One season, done. And Spotify didn't sugarcoat it, they said it plain, didn't meet expectations. Ouch, one flop is bad, two? That's a pattern. And suddenly, it's not just bad luck, it's maybe these two can't pull it off. And now they're knocking on Paramount's door? But let's be real, Paramount isn't exactly desperate for content. They've read the headlines. They know who they're dealing with. Two high-profile names with a trail of underwhelming results and a fan base that's starting to ask hard questions. This isn't just about being famous anymore. It's about trust. Can Harry and Meghan actually deliver? Or is this all just glossy PR with no bite? Here's what makes it all even sadder. They had the upper hand once. When they stepped away from Buckingham Palace, they held the golden ticket. They had total control of their story. Rare, powerful, and they lost it. Somewhere along the way, their message got messy. Their projects started to feel empty. The public could sense it, and Hollywood definitely noticed. Because buzz is great, but buzz without substance, it fades fast. And that's exactly what happened. So what happened next? Oh, it gets even juicier. Netflix didn't just pull the plug, they erased Meghan and Harry like they never existed. Quietly, brutally, no press release, no public goodbye. No, we've decided to go in a different direction. Just silence. Cold and final. Insiders spilled the tea. Netflix told them privately there would be no season 2 of their docuseries. That's not a break. That's not a timeout. That's a total, full-stop rejection. And for a couple who built their entire brand around image control and narrative power, that silence, devastating. Think about it. Meghan especially has always been meticulous. Every look, every post, every move, calculated to perfection. But there's no spinning this. The lack of response is the story now. Netflix ghosted them, and everyone in the industry heard it loud and clear. And if you think this only hurts their streaming numbers, think again. This is way bigger than just one show. This is a warning to the whole industry, a giant red flag waving to every producer, investor, and platform. This brand might not be worth the trouble. There was a time, short-lived but real, when just having Harry and Meghan attached to something guaranteed buzz. But that shine? It's worn off. Now they're seen as risky, unpredictable, too tightly wound around a perfectly packaged image that's clearly cracking. And Hollywood? It doesn't do second chances easily, especially not when the two biggest platforms, Netflix and Spotify, already gave you golden opportunities. Massive money, full control, and what happened? Neither deal made it to the finish line with dignity. Now Paramount is on the fence. That's the last major door even slightly open, and it's not open wide, it's barely hanging on the hinges. Executives over there are watching, they're reading the same headlines, they're looking at the same numbers, they've seen the pattern. It's not pretty, and Meghan? She's already back out there pitching like crazy. Back to the basics. Lifestyle content, unscripted formats, maybe even another podcast. The safe influencer route she used to lean on before the whole Duchess thing. But let's be real, this isn't 2016. The market's changed, it's crowded, and audiences are not as forgiving as they used to be. Viewers don't want curated perfection anymore. They want authenticity, they want real. And Meghan and Harry's latest projects, they felt hollow, like PR in a trench coat. Pretty, polished, but no depth. The kind of content that promises big emotional impact but ends up feeling like a long Instagram caption. Even worse, the couple's strategy of silence? It's backfiring hard. After a string of public failures, going quiet doesn't read like we're regrouping. It reads like we're spiraling. And now, critics who once chased them with obsession, they've turned. Every gap in activity gets painted as a defeat. Every rumor becomes gospel. Every collaborator who stays silent, it's seen as confirmation that no one wants to touch them anymore. Once you lose control of your narrative in Hollywood, it's almost impossible to get it back. And Meghan and Harry, they're dangling at the edge of that cliff. Behind closed doors, people are nervous. The energy has shifted. The couple knows they're running out of time. If they don't pull off something real and fast, their media empire will just be a cautionary tale. Expensive, empty, and unfinished. It's not just about bad PR, it's about identity. People don't know what Harry and Meghan stand for anymore. At first it was crystal clear. Escape the palace, speak their truth, build something fresh. But now, the branding is all over the place. Lifestyle content, royal reflections, activism, wellness, podcasting. People are confused. There's no cohesive message. And the content they do release, it feels like it's been dipped in too much PR polish and not enough realness. And you can't build connection on that. Not anymore. Hollywood has shifted. The audience doesn't want perfection. They want raw, they want real. And Meghan and Harry, they're still serving filtered, branded, cautious content, and it's just not landing. Worse still, their silence is becoming its own story. In the absence of real engagement, every little thing is being picked apart. If they go quiet, people assume they're scrambling behind the scenes. If they're seen out casually, people say they're distracting from the chaos. They can't win. And Meghan and Harry, they know it. The pressure inside that camp must be insane. The clock is ticking, and the next project, if there even is one, could literally decide the future of their media brand. It's not just another deal, it's make or break. All those early advantages wasted. They had the attention, the resources, the goodwill, and somehow it slipped through their fingers. Not because people were rooting for them to fail, but because people wanted to believe, and they just didn't deliver. So now here we are. The moment no one wanted to admit might be coming. With Netflix out, Spotify done, and Paramount keeping them at arm's length, Meghan and Harry are officially out of lifelines. And let's be real, this isn't just about a podcast or a series anymore. This is about whether anyone in the industry still believes in them at all. That's what makes this so heartbreaking. They weren't just a celebrity couple, they were supposed to be disruptors. Voices of change, the ones who walked away from royalty and built something better. For a while, we believed that. We wanted to believe it, but now, that belief has crumbled, and what's left behind looks more like a brand in free fall than a power couple. Paramount Plus, the last big platform even considering a partnership, is clearly hesitant. Executives there have seen the numbers, they've read the coverage. They're not stupid. They know that if Netflix and Spotify, two of the most powerful entertainment giants in the world, walked away silently, something must be seriously wrong. And they're not going to make the same mistake. Sure, the Sussexes are still talking about ideas, maybe a rebrand, new content, new vibes, but at this point, ideas aren't enough. The industry wants results, not recycled pitches. Flashy names don't cut it anymore, not when the trust is gone. And trust, that's the hardest thing to win back. Audiences have changed, they're smarter, they've seen the behind the scenes. They know when something is real and when it's just dressed up damage control. And unfortunately, Meghan and Harry's content, it just hasn't felt real. It hasn't felt connected. It's all style, no soul. Glossy, clean, edited, but not honest. And in this industry, that's fatal. Even worse, the narrative has turned completely. Once upon a time, they were the brave truth tellers stepping out from under the crown. Now, insiders are calling them inconsistent, overly controlling, obsessed with curating every frame of their story, and that doesn't play well anymore. Audiences don't want royalty dressed up as reality TV. They want raw, flawed human stories. And Meghan and Harry, they've lost the plot. Even their inner circle has gone quiet. Collaborators, advisors, producers, people who once sang their praises have gone dark. Some have even admitted they're not sure what Meghan and Harry are even trying to do anymore. There's no clear mission, no clear voice, and no consistency, and honestly, that's what hurts the most, because they had it. They had everything. Sympathy, attention, the platform. They could have told powerful stories. They could have taken risks. But instead, they tried to build a media kingdom on buzz, branding, and curated control. And Hollywood doesn't reward that forever. Now, they're left scrambling. Meghan is reportedly leaning hard into a solo revival, maybe a wellness brand, maybe a podcast comeback, maybe more lifestyle fluff. But every time she launches something new, the audience is just a little more skeptical, a little more jaded, a little less willing to believe. And Harry? He's fading. Slowly, quietly. Without a strong, separate voice from Meghan, his relevance is slipping. He needs something bold, something personal, something real that isn't tied to royal nostalgia or media fluff. But will he find it? That's the big question, because this is the last roll of the dice. If the next move flops, or worse, doesn't even get made, it could be the end of the Sussex media dream. The empire they were building could vanish just like that. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. And what's worse, they know it. This isn't just a rough patch. This is the unraveling of a crown they tried to craft in California. And right now, it's slipping, faster than they can stop it. Paramount's hesitation isn't just business. It's a reflection of the cold, hard truth. The industry has moved on. So unless Harry and Meghan can pull off a comeback that's raw, grounded, and actually worth watching, Hollywood might already have closed the final door.